Hi guys, this is Ashish from Edureka and I hope you guys are doing well. Now in the previous video of this Edureka's free Angular course for beginners, I have shown you how to create a mean stack application from scratch. So there basically we learn how to integrate different pieces of technologies such as MongoDB, Express, Angular and Node, also abbreviated as mean stack, together so as to build a fully functional website. Now the problem with that particular website was that we were able to access that particular web application that we created, that is the mean stack app, locally only. What if you want to go ahead and deploy your application on cloud? So what are the steps that you have to go ahead? So what we're going to do is basically we're going to go ahead and deploy our mean stack application on a platform known as Heroku. And best part about Heroku is that it provides you all those services for free. So let's go ahead and deploy our shopping list main application. Before that, let's have a look at our shopping list main application again. So if I go to localhost 4200, before that, let me go ahead and spin my server and serve my application as well. So I'm gonna go to my directory CRUD backend. All right, here I'm gonna go ahead with the command ngserve so as to serve my application on port 4200. And similarly, I need to spin my server as well, the Express server that I had. And before that, what I need is I need to start my MongoDB services. All right, so my MongoDB service has been started on port 27017. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my backend code inside the backend code project directory, and I'm going to issue the command nodemon. All right, and there you can see that we have our Express server has been started on port 3000 and MongoDB has been connected. So let's go to our browser and we go to our localhost 4200. So this is our shopping list application, guys. So there we had all the CRUD operation or all the REST APIs over here. So what we can do, we can go ahead and add a new entity such as the item that we want to buy whenever we are going for shopping. Suppose what I want is butter and I want 2 as a quantity. And if I go ahead with add button, you can see that that particular item is being added. Similarly, we can go ahead and delete a particular item. We can edit a particular item as well. For example, I want to change the quantity to 1. All right, then we have option for checking and unchecking for the item that we have bought. So if we do that, even if we reload the application, the same state of that particular item will be maintained in the checkbox. So all those stuff, how to do that, we have learned in our previous video. Now the next step is you have to go ahead and deploy this particular application on Heroku. So for that, we need to install few dependencies. The first one we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead to our dashboard, heroku.com. And here basically you have to create an account, guys. Right now I guess I have created my account already. So if I go ahead and log in, so you just have to go through a normal sign up process over there, provide your credential, email, username, and the password that you want. And then you will get a dashboard like this over here. Now here basically we're gonna go ahead with a Node.js server. So there we're gonna deploy our code base that we are having. Now with our current code base, what is happening is we have MongoDB set up locally, which is running on the port 27017. So what we want to do is basically we want to shift this MongoDB implementation to the cloud. For that, we're going to use something called as mlabs.com or MongoDB Labs. So let's say mlab.com. Again, you have to go through a sign up process over here and create an account. For the basic usage, they have provided all the services for free, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in that. So for that, I'm going to say Ashish Ashu, and I'm going to provide my password. All right, so we have done two things so far. First, we have created an account on Heroku, and the second thing that we have created an account on MLab so as to set up our MongoDB on cloud. Now, there will be some changes with our codes as well, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, if you see now that we are getting deprecation warning over here that open is deprecated in Mongoose greater than or equal to 4.11. For that, we need to go ahead and check out this particular website. So let's go ahead and do that. Now here what we want to do is basically we have to set this particular option. If you read the entire message over here, it says that we have to set the use Mongo Cli option if using connect. So let's go ahead and do that. So basically we have to provide a second parameter. So if I go back to my backend code, my entry.js file, that is the entry point file, and here I have to provide parameter, and that will be set to true use Mongo client. That is the property that we have to set to true. All right, now once we do that, you can see that the deprecation warning has been gone. Right now what is happening is our Angular CLI is serving our application on 4200 port 4200. Instead of that, what we want is we want our Node.js servers to host our application. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to build our application, and then we're going to host the files that has been built or generated by our ngbuild command, and using that we're going to host that to our Node.js server. So for that, let's go back to our Angular application, and there we have a file called as angular-cli.json. And here if you see, we are having a property called as outdir. That means if you go ahead with the ngbuild command, at that time a folder called test will be created and all your build files will be present over there. So let me show you that as well. So if I go ahead with Control C now and I go ahead with the command at gbuild. On a quick note, with the Angular 5 version, this ngbuild command will be basically using your AOT, that is ahead of time compilation. So you have two modes of compilation in your Angular. One is called as JET, that is just in time compilation. Another one is called as AOT, or ahead of time compilation. So in this case, your templates are going to compile at the build time, and then you're going to go ahead and serve them with whatever server you want. So now as you can see, the test folder has been created, and these are my build files that I need to serve using Node. Now, one more difference that you have to make in your code base is you have to go back to your data.service class where we have all the data access logic. Here we were referring to our localhost 3000. That was the domain on which our Express server was running, and that was the name of the port, that is 3000, that we had configured over there. Now, if you are serving the application using Node.js, it will take the domain name by default and you don't have to go ahead and mention it. The same goes with your Heroku as well. So once you deploy your application on Heroku, and there also your application will be served by Node.js. So whatever domain name that they will be having, it will be using that automatically. So let's get rid of this HTTP localhost 3000 for now. So we're going to make these changes everywhere in all our HTTP requests. Alright, so for now what we have done, we have made the changes in our data service class, and we have learned about how to go ahead and build our Angular application using ngbuild command. Now what we want is basically, I want a public folder inside my backend code folder, and I want all my build file to be generated over there. So for that, I'm going to go ahead with my angular-cli.json file, this property, and here I'm going to go ahead and give a reference to that particular folder. So I'm going to say one step back because it will be referring to my source. Now if I go back, I'll be inside my root folder, that is my project directory, and inside that I'm going to go ahead with CRUD backend, and inside that I'm going to go ahead with a folder called as public. This folder will be generated automatically, so you don't need to go ahead and create this folder explicitly. So once the build process has been complete, you can see the public folder has been created inside my backend project. So now I no longer need my CRUD Angular project. So let's go ahead and remove all these. Now what we want is basically we want to serve our application using Node. So let's go ahead and serve our application in the local host only. Once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and deploy the whole code base to Heroku. So let's get back to our entry.js file, and here I'm going to need one more module called as path. So let's go ahead with var path equal to require, and I'm going to mention path. All right. Now I'm going to talk about this Mongo app configuration later on. Let's go ahead and make some changes so that we can serve it. Now, one more thing that will change is, since we are not aware of the port on which our Heroku application or the server that will be deploying our application, so we're going to go ahead with some property known as process.env.port. In general, if you're using Linux, you will be very well aware of that the Node.js application are being hosted on 8080 port. So let's go ahead and use that as well. Now here I want to go ahead and refer to my public folder, that is the static asset on which all my build file resides. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say app.use, and here I'm going to say express.static so as to list all my static assets. And here I'm going to use that path module that we have added. Basically we want a function called as join, and then we're going to refer the current directory path using _dir name, and we're going to join it with public. Now after that, what we want to do is we want to serve all our build file. Basically, we want to serve our index.html file. So for that, I'm going to say app.get. Let's go ahead with all the routes. That's why I have used asterisk over here. And then I'm going to say request response. And for sending the file or for serving a file, you're going to go ahead with res send file. This is the function that you want to call. And inside that, again, you have to mention the path where your index.html is residing. So I'm going to say path.join and __ dir name. And then I'm going to join it with my public folder. So I'm going to say public. And inside public, I'll be having index.html. That is the file that gets served by your browser. Alright, so once we are done with all these changes, let's go ahead and serve our application. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open a new terminal, and I'll go inside my backend folder, and I'm going to go ahead with the command node mode. Now, as you can see, server has been started at port 8080 and MongoDB has been connected. So let's go ahead to our port localhost 8080 and let's see whether it works or not. Alright, so everything is working fine, guys. Now the next step is we have to set up our MongoDB on the cloud. So for that, we're going to go ahead with mlab. So now you have done your sign in, and after that, what you have to do, basically you have to click on this create new button for creating a new MongoDB deployment. And here you will get different options for what are the cloud provider you want or what is the plan that you want. Basically, we're going to go ahead with a free one, that's the sandbox, and let's hit continue. And here I'm going to go ahead with Europe, and I'm going to click continue, and I'm going to name my database as shopping list. All right, then you hit enter. Again, you need to submit order. And now, as you can see, that your database has been created. All right. Now, in order to access this database, you need to create a DB user. So what you have to do, you have to click on this particular database that has been created for you. And once you do that, you have an option for creating users. So click on this users tab over here and add a database user. Now here you have to name the database user over here and the password. All right, then you go ahead and click on create button. Now your database user has been created, and this is the URL that you will be using for connecting to MongoLab. So let's go ahead and copy it. And this is what you have to do over here. Basically, you have to replace this particular URL with the MongoLab URL. And here the changes that you have to make is you have to put your DB user over here, that is Edureka in our case. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead with Edureka123. All right. Now let's save it, and then let's go ahead and stop our MongoDB server if we don't need it. Now let's check out our application once more, and as you can see, we are getting the message as MongoDB connected. Now basically what I can do is I'm gonna go ahead with my application hosted on 8080, and if I reload it, now there are no items that is there in my MongoLab, so let's go ahead and add some. So I'm gonna again go ahead with X, and I want a dozen. I'm going to go ahead with add item, and as you can see, the item is being added. Let's go ahead and check other functionalities as well. I'm going to say 21, and it's working. Let's delete it. It's there. Now let's add beer, and we want a 6-pack. Add item. We check it. We reload it. Everything is working fine, right? So what we have done, we have successfully moved our MongoDB on MongoLab. We have made changes so as to serve our application using Node. So finally, our Node.js application or the backend application is ready for deployment on Heroku. So now the next step is we have to go ahead with the Heroku. So here, what we want is we have to go ahead with Node.js server. So basically, our application is Node.js. Now for Heroku, you need to install two things. The first one is your Heroku CLI, and the second thing that you need is Git. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on I'm ready to start. And the first thing that we want is to download the Heroku CLI. So I'm going to say Windows 64. And if I click on it, you can see that that particular installer is being downloaded over here. Now, meanwhile, it is being downloaded. Let's go ahead and set up our Git as well for our Windows. So what you have to do, you have to write Git for Windows installer. And there's a website called as git-scm.com. This is the one that you have to visit. And here you're gonna get installer with respect to different platforms. So choose the correct installer with respect to the platform that you're working on. I'm going to go ahead with Windows. And again, I'm going to go ahead with 64-bit for Windows setup. Now our download has been completed. So let's go ahead and run the installer. So first we're going to go ahead with Git. Now click on next, again next, next. So basically we're going to go ahead with the default configurations over here, just to avoid any confusion. Now let's go ahead and click on launch git bash, because that is what I will be using for today. Now once you do that, you will have command line interface for using Git, which is called as git bash. Next step is we're going to go ahead with our Heroku CLI installation. So again, you have to run that particular installer, and I'm going to go ahead and type my password. So installing Heroku Cli N Kit is not a big deal. You just have to click on a bunch of next buttons and click on agree, and that's all. You are done with Heroku and Kit. Now, the thing to remember when you're installing Heroku or Kit, you make sure that you have closed down all your command prompt instances in Windows, because in my previous experience, I had some difficulty while installing Heroku and Git while my command prompt instance was running. Alright, so I guess the Git installation or installer is running again. Alright, so let's cancel it. Yes, and let's close down it. Now, so we have done with Git and we are done with our Heroku. Now, once you are done with your Git installation, you have to go ahead with the command git config, and then you have to go ahead with the flag -- global. So basically you want to go ahead and set up your credentials. So I'm going to go ahead with user.name. For setting up your credential, go ahead and visit the website github.com and make a sign up over there, providing all your credential, username, and the email that is required. So I'm going to go ahead with the username as Edureka Ashish, because that is what my username is. And next thing that I want is I want my email over here. So I'm going to go ahead with email. All right. Now if I go ahead with the command git -- version, you can see the current version that I'm having on my Windows. Now let's get back to our Heroku deployment steps, and let's clear the screen as well. Alright, so we are done with the Heroku download, we are done with the Git, we already have Node and NPM in our system, so let's go ahead to our next step. Now basically this step is about preparing your application, so we already have our Node.js application working, therefore we don't need to go ahead with this step. In case if you're following this video for the first time, you need to go ahead with this command git clone and the URL that has been provided. This will basically clone the entire project to the current directory that you're having, and then you have to go inside to that particular directory, Node.js getting started, and you have your Node.js application ready so that you can use as to deploy it on Heroku. Now next step is to deploy your application. So for that you're going to go ahead with the command Heroku create. So let's do that. Before that, what we're going to do, since we haven't pushed our application MinStack application to the Git right now, so let's go ahead and do that. So for that, we're going to go ahead with /e to the E directory, and inside that I'm going to go ahead to my folder Angular tutorial and then shopping list, and inside that I'm having my CRUD backend. Basically this particular step, except that there is a .git file inside your Node.js application. So for that you need git init. So that's all we want. All right. Now the next thing that we want is we need to go ahead with the step Heroku create. So let's go ahead with the step Heroku create. This will basically set up a Heroku application for us, which we can access through a URL. So I'm going to go ahead with Heroku create over here. Heroku, the bash command is not found. So let's go ahead and check that. All right, so it is working over there. So now let's go ahead and try it over here again. Maybe just we need to run our git bash again. So let's go ahead with our git bash again, and let's browse to our project directory, which is inside my E drive. Inside that I'm having Angular tutorial, and then I'm having shopping list. I'm sorry. Now shopping list, and inside that I'm gonna go ahead with CRUD backend. All right, now let's check our Heroku again. So I'm gonna go ahead with Heroku create, and as you can see, it is working now. So make sure that once you have downloaded your Heroku CLI, then you have to restart your Git bash application if you're following this video. Now this is the URL that you have to go ahead with in order to access that particular application. Just copy it over here and let's go ahead and paste it inside my Git tab that I was having for downloading Git. And as you can see, we are having our Heroku application that we have created just now. All right. Now the next thing that we want is we want to push all our project to the Git local repository. So for that, I'm going to go ahead with git add and dot. That means to add everything that is there inside my project directory to your local repo. In case if you don't know or if you're not familiar with Git, you can go ahead and check out our Git tutorial video and what is Git video by Edureka and learn about all those stuff. Also, you can go ahead and check out the Git tutorial blog that is there on Edureka that explains all these basic stuff and command about Git and how does it work. Now it will take few minutes, guys, so you don't need to worry about that. Now as you can see, all the files has been added. Now the next step is you have to go ahead with git commit -am flag. That's the flag that you have to pass, and then to pass a comment. Let's go ahead with the comment deploy my main app to Heroku. All right, so all this file has been created on my GitHub. Now the next step is let's go ahead and check our steps over here. So we have done all those stuff. Now the next step we're gonna go ahead with is git push Heroku master. So basically we have committed all those files and directories that we have added to our local repo, and then finally we have pushed to Heroku master. Now the next thing that we want is basically it will be giving me a URL to which I can go ahead and see my app working. All right, so let's go ahead with our status. So nothing to free because we have got some error over here. Pre-received hook declined. So basically I had my repo already over there. So let's go ahead and retry that. So I'll say git push Heroku master. Now I guess everything is deployed over here. Now the last thing that I want to have is I want to copy this. And let's check out our error that we were getting in our previous push. So the error that we were getting was failed to push some refs to yeah. Okay, so we are getting everything over there. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the error or the status that we want to know. Okay, it is saying no known issues at this time. In case, guys, you're stuck at something or you're receiving the same error, you can go ahead and comment that in the comment section below, and we're gonna go ahead and provide all the solutions that we can have for that particular error that you receive. All right, so now if I go ahead to my next step, it's saying that you can go ahead with Heroku open. This will open the URL for you, or you can go ahead and use this particular URL that will be generated over here. As you can see, if we go back down, you can see this is the URL that we are having. If we go ahead, we'll have our Heroku deployed over there. So now the next thing that we're gonna do is go ahead with that URL, and we are getting an error. So let's go ahead and check all the logs that we want. So we're gonna say Heroku logs, and the error that we are getting is missing script start. All right, guys. So what we have done wrong over here is basically we haven't added any script call as start over here. So basically what your Heroku application or Node.js application does is it goes ahead with the command npm start. So if I can show you how it works. So if I go ahead with the documentation, this is Node.js, and I guess if the introduction setup. So this is how you go ahead with the logs. Now, this is the file that I was talking about, define a proc file. So using a proc file, a text file in the root directory of your application to explicitly declare what command should be executed to start your app. Or what you can do is basically you can go ahead and add a script over here. You can go ahead and say start. Now we're gonna say node our entry point file, that is entry.js over here. Let's save it down, and then let's close our current server, and let's go ahead with the command npm start. So now as you can see, the npm start command is working. So let's go ahead and add this particular change to our kit. So for that, I'm gonna again go ahead with git add dot. All right, as you can see, the package.json file has been changed. Let's go ahead with the commit, and I'm gonna say git commit -m and some changes in main app deploy on Heroku. All right, so one file has been changed. Now the next step that we did was basically we went ahead with git push Heroku master. All right, now let's go ahead this time with the command that has been provided by in the steps that we were following. So I'm going to go ahead with Heroku pscale web1, copy it over here. Now this is to ensure that at least one instance of the app is running and it is set as free. Now what we can do is we can directly go ahead with the command Heroku open. And once we do that, it will basically open that application for us in your default browser. Now, as you can see that we have successfully deployed our application on Heroku. So this is the URL, guys, that we'll be using. Now here you can go ahead and add few things so as to check out whether all the CRUD operations are working well or not. So I'm going to go ahead with, let's say, butter again. I'm going to say 2 and let's see it is being added or not. Yeah, it's working. Now let's go ahead and edit that. So I'm going to say beers and I want 12. Now those changes has been made to our database. Now last thing that we want is we want to delete something. Let's go ahead and check our check uncheck option and let's reload this particular web app. Now as you can see, that particular check and uncheck option is being maintained as per our database. So this is the entire application, guys. Now we have learned how to deploy that on the Heroku. This is the steps that you have to follow. In case you are following along with this video for the first time, I would recommend you to go ahead and check out the previous 2 videos of this free Angular course for beginners, where I have shown how to create this mean stack application from scratch. And in the next video, the last video of this free Angular course series, I'm going to go ahead with a Firebase application. Alright guys, so see you in the next video.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries and we will reply to them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!